Leaked reports, the untold truth about Oat'S hospital emergency. It began with a single blurry photo. A hospital corridor. A stretcher being wheeled past flashing cameras. And a figure, barely recognizable, surrounded by security and whispers. That figure was Oat. In the hours that followed, confusion spread like wildfire. Fans demanded answers. News outlets scrambled for confirmation. And the question echoed across every social platform in Thailand and beyond: what really happened to Oat on the night of his hospital emergency? Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update in the world of your favorite celebrities. The night that changed everything. According to reports, it all unfolded just after midnight. Oat had finished a long day of rehearsals, promotional shoots, choreography training, and meetings that ran late into the night. By all accounts, it was routine. Until it wasn't. Around 12:47 a.m., sources say Oat suddenly collapsed backstage at the recording studio. Witnesses recall the moment vividly, one describing it as like the life just drained from him all at once. Within minutes, chaos erupted. His team rushed to his side, calling for medical assistance. Paramedics arrived swiftly, shrouding him from cameras as they moved through the back entrance. No one outside the studio was supposed to know. But someone leaked it. And by dawn, #PrayForOat was trending in 5 countries. The leaked report, what the public wasn't supposed to see. 2 days later, what appeared to be an internal hospital document surfaced online, its authenticity still unconfirmed, but its details chilling. It mentioned extreme exhaustion, dehydration, and stress-induced collapse. Medical experts speculated it could be the culmination of weeks, perhaps months, of overwork. But deeper inside that same report was a single line that sparked global concern: patient has shown signs of severe anxiety and prolonged physical strain consistent with burnout. Burnout. A word rarely spoken aloud in the world of idol perfection, where smiles are rehearsed and fatigue is hidden behind makeup and lighting. But in Oat's case, the truth was becoming impossible to hide. The press silence, a wall of protection or denial? For nearly 24 hours, his management remained silent. No statements. No denials. Only a brief, vague message posted online: Oat is currently receiving medical care. We ask for privacy and prayers. But silence only fueled speculation. Fans began piecing together clues, footage from days before showing Oat looking pale, thinner, struggling to finish interviews. One behind-the-scenes clip even showed him leaning on a staff member between takes, whispering, "Just 5 more minutes. I can do it." Those words, once seen as determination, now sounded like a cry for help. The visit, Leo Wu arrives at the hospital. Then, something unexpected happened. Hours before sunrise, Leo Wu, Oat's close friend and frequent co-star, was seen arriving at the hospital's private entrance. No entourage. No cameras. Just him, wearing a hoodie and cap. Staff members said he stayed for nearly 2 hours, quietly speaking with Oat's family and doctor. When he left, his face was tense, his eyes red. He didn't speak to reporters. But one witness overheard him say softly, "He gave everything to this industry, even the parts of himself he shouldn't have." That single line set off a storm. Fans began asking the uncomfortable question: had Oat's drive for perfection pushed him too far? The truth behind the emergency: days later, official representatives confirmed what many feared: Oat had suffered a stress-induced collapse. According to insiders, he had ignored earlier symptoms: fatigue, headaches, dizzy spells, determined not to disappoint his team or fans. A friend later revealed, he was so afraid of letting anyone down. Even when his body begged him to stop, he kept saying, "I'll rest after the next project." But there was always a next project. The truth was simple: Oat's dedication, the very thing that built his career, had nearly destroyed him. The fans' reaction, love turned into movement as the reality sank in: something extraordinary happened. Fans didn't just post sympathy messages, they organized. They launched the #RestForOat campaign, urging entertainment companies to enforce mandatory rest periods for artists under their contracts. Within hours, it became one of the largest fan-led health advocacy movements in Asia. Letters poured in, from Thailand, Korea, China, and beyond, all carrying the same message: we love your work, but we love your well-being more. For an industry built on perfection, it was a powerful moment of reckoning. Oat'S first words after nearly 2 weeks in recovery, Oat finally broke his silence. Through a handwritten note shared on social media, he wrote, "I thought strength meant never stopping. I was wrong. Real strength is knowing when to rest. I scared you all, and I'm sorry. But I'm learning to breathe, to heal, to live." His words were humble, honest, and heavy with gratitude. Fans wept. Colleagues praised him for speaking up. And somewhere behind the hospital doors, Oat began his slow, quiet return, not to the stage, but to himself. The aftermath: a new chapter begins weeks later. Insiders reported that Oat had begun therapy and physical rehabilitation. His agency, once criticized for its silence, announced new guidelines to protect artists' mental health. And when Oat was finally seen again, thinner, quieter, but smiling, the crowd didn't cheer for his comeback. They simply clapped softly, out of respect. Because this time, it wasn't about fame. It was about survival. The message that will echo for years: the leaked reports, the sleepless nights, the hospital walls, they weren't just a scandal. They were a wake-up call. Oat's collapse became a mirror for an entire industry that glorifies exhaustion and disguises pain as professionalism. And now, his story carries a message that will outlive the headlines: that even the brightest stars must rest, that even heroes must heal, and that no dream, no matter how grand, is worth losing yourself for. The silence between friends for weeks after Oat's collapse, Boat remained quiet. He cancelled public appearances, avoided interviews, and turned down variety show invitations. Those close to him said he was deeply shaken. He had tried to reach Oat on the night of the incident, calling, texting, sending voice messages, but there was no reply. In one leaked private note to a friend, Boat allegedly wrote, "I saw the warning signs, but I thought he was fine. He always said he could handle it. I should have pushed harder. I should have been there." That guilt haunted him. So when news broke that Oat had regained consciousness, Boat didn't wait for permission. He got in his car and drove straight to the hospital. The reunion, quiet, raw, real. It was a Thursday morning. The hospital corridors were still dim, bathed in that sterile, early light that feels half awake. Boat arrived wearing a cap and mask, escorted by Oat's manager through a back entrance. No cameras. No reporters. Just the sound of footsteps echoing through the hall. When he finally stepped into the room, Oat was awake, frail, pale, but smiling. For a moment, neither spoke. Boat froze in the doorway, eyes glistening, while Oat simply whispered, "You came." That was all it took. Boat moved forward, hugged him tightly, and for the first time in months, the silence between them broke. Witnesses say they stayed like that for nearly a minute, no words, just tears. Then, Oat, in his weakened voice, said something that would later go viral when insiders shared it online: "You didn't fail me. You saved me, just by showing up." The private conversation, two hearts mending. They spoke for hours. About fame. About fear. About the weight of being strong all the time. Oat admitted that the pressure had consumed him, that he had been so busy pretending to be okay that he forgot how to ask for help. Boat, voice trembling, replied, "You don't have to carry everything alone anymore. If you fall, I'll be there. Not as a co-star. As your brother." There were no cameras, no script, no audience, just truth. And in that truth, they began to heal. The world finds out days later. The world learned about the reunion. A nurse leaked a photo, blurry, almost by accident, showing two figures sitting side by the hospital window. One in a hospital gown, one in a black hoodie, heads bowed, smiling faintly. The caption simply read, "He's not alone anymore." The internet exploded. Fans flooded timelines with messages like "Brotherhood stronger than fame" and "Boat and Oat, the reunion we all needed." But what touched people most wasn't the photo. It was what came after.